Disclaimer: the insights and opinions shared on this show are for educational and entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, we recommend consulting with a qualified professional to better understand your unique financial situation. Welcome to the Investor's Playbook Show, where our mission is clear: empowerment through financial education. We firmly believe that financial freedom isn't a privilege, it's a right that's available to everybody. Each week, we dive deep into the world of finances, breaking down complex topics and making them accessible and actionable for everyone. As we grow this community, we invite you to join us on this journey. Why tune in? Because together, we're not just learning about wealth, we're building a movement, reshaping futures, and proving that with the right knowledge, financial success is within everyone's reach. It's time to get off the sidelines. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Investor's Playbook. As always, you got your co-hosts Deshaun Edwards and Cornell Rowan. Cornell, how are you feeling today, man? How was your weekend? How's your week been? Talk to him, bro.
Man, it was pretty good because I got to hang with family. Man, I really appreciate everybody that was just there for me, just to celebrate, hang around, eat food, drink,
How
parlay.
is how is the fam? And I haven't talked to Chelsea or Blackshare, or I ain't spoke to your mom in a minute either. How's everybody doing?
Chelsea and my mom are actually in Italy right now.
Oh,
So
you
yeah, they
talking about like
traveling.
cousins and stuff?
Yeah, so it was more so me and my cousins. Black, I think he was in Twig, so he didn't come through. But yeah, it was still,
Mm-hmm.
I got a big family. Like
Yeah,
everybody was still
yeah.
together and enjoy. But we had this hurricane, man, and I'm asleep and I just started hearing this tap, tap, tap. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I look, man, my roof is leaking.
Oh, that's all bad, bro. And I heard about that hurricane. Like people, they closed down school for like
Yeah,
last
for
2 days of
2 days.
school last week,
Yeah.
and it sounded like it did damage, but that is crazy. Your roof. That is never something that you want to hear, man. Dang.
Yeah,
So that was the disturbing news for you this weekend.
for
Um,
sure, for sure. But how are you, bro?
I am wonderful, man. I got to hang out with a lot of friends this weekend, and then also got a lot of work done. So as you know, my guy Devon, he works on movies. He does
Right.
a lot of the sound recording, sound production of the movies, and the animated movie The Wild Robot just came out. He worked on that. I don't know if you heard about it, like the one with Lupita in it. It's about a wild robot. Never heard of it.
I have not. Who is Lapita?
Who is Lupita? Lupita is the she's the she's the actress who played in the Black Panther. She
Oh,
also played in the Last Quiet Place movie. You know what I'm talking about?
no, there were a lot of people that played in Black Panther, so
The
uh,
the the love interest of Black Panther. Do you remember her?
oh, of the second Black Panther or
Both Black
both?
Panther.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess.
So yeah, they might clown you for that one, bro, if you don't know who Lupita is. But I know that you don't know actors and actresses like that.
I
That
don't.
ain't
I
your,
don't.
that ain't your thing. But yeah, she did the voice acting for the main character, the Wild Robot, and like we all got together. It was like 8 of us, but it was all like it's not something we would normally do, like go see a kids movie because we're all
Right.
like grown adults. But
Y'all were
we
supporting.
we definitely had to show support, and at the end of the movie, credits rolling by, his name pops up, and I'm like, man, I
Let's
press
get
one
it.
because it's like
Yeah.
it really just shows a testament to the progress that people can make, right? Like when I moved out here, D was working at Firestone, like working on doing something in movies and in production, and now he's like literally in credits of movies, just that short time. So
Hold on, pause. Did you say Firestone like on cars?
like the car place, yes, bruh. He
He was
was
a mechanic?
well, something like that, but either what I'm trying to say is very humble beginnings. Like him coming out here to LA was
All
Dang.
right, I'm coming out here to figure it out, and he figured it out, bro. Like,
That is a really dope story,
no,
bro. Like,
it
I
is.
never knew that.
It is because sometimes people come out here to LA and they get destroyed, and they go back home with a bag on their shoulder, like, man, I ain't make it, but it's cool. But yeah, man, very proud to call him my friend for sure because he has stayed 10 toes down and just is just a real testament of what it means. Like when you put in the hard work, when you prepare, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he could have been given the opportunity and not been ready. So yeah, preparation is extremely important, which is exactly what this particular episode is going to be all about: being prepared. Yeah, I know. Thank you, bro. Thank you. It's all about being prepared, man. And preparation can come in a lot of different ways. It can come in you being ready to act when an opportunity comes, or it can come with like your situation, literally with your roof, for you being ready to react to an unfortunate situation, right? Like you having the means to still take care of what you need to take care of. So with Investors Playbook, of course, we want to talk about financial preparation and what that looks like, what that means, and basically the benefits of it, and of course the downsides of not being prepared, which is it can get pretty bad. A lot of people can dig themselves some pretty deep holes if they're not prepared. But first, I just want to ask you, bro, like with your roof leaking, what were your first thoughts? Like, what were you thinking? Like, was it panic? Was it annoyance? Was it like, it's okay, I'm not worried about it because I know that I'm good? But go ahead.
You know what? It's funny because like while it was happening in that moment, I was still at peace. I was still at peace. I was
Man.
like, dang, just another obstacle that I have to go through. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because nothing's gonna be perfect at all times. Some things are gonna happen at some time. And me stressing over it isn't going to help the situation.
Thanks.
But I feel like what helps me not stress over it is having the means to fix the problem. You see
Yes.
what I'm saying? Because if I wasn't prepared, what would that have looked like? And it'd be like, dang, now I'm not going to be able to do this, or that because I have to get this roof fixed. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So my first thing was, okay, let me wait for my insurance company to open. Let me call them, make the claim. Let me call a roofer. Okay, I handled it. So they're coming out. Whatever the damage is when it comes to what I have to pay, I'm gonna take care of that.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, we're gonna get it fixed and move on. That's all we can do. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And see, and that's another thing. I know that financial preparation already puts you at peace, but even just like knowing how to handle the situation, right? Like the fact that you even have insurance to call and know that this is not a situation that you have to go alone. You don't got to get on the roof and like check for the damage or none of that, or call some random roofer. You can just go through the proper processes, but that's also being mentally prepared and being ready for a situation like this. Because some people don't really know always the proper steps to follow. They'll skip calling the insurance company and then go straight to calling the roofer because they're feeling panicked, right? And then they get this big number saying, "Oh, you got to pay me this much," and then that's another panic. So I don't know. Preparation can come in a lot of different forms, but um, it's really just important to be prepared in all forms, right? But specifically financially is that one that can really handle a lot of situations when they do occur, like car accident. Okay, that sucks. What do you do next? Are you now worried about dishing out a lot of money to get another car, or do you have money saved? Do you have money that's invested that you can pull from? Like all those things can help and assist in you figuring out what your next step is going to be, and also how you feel when the situation happens. Go ahead.
and I feel like this stems from not living check to check. Because
Mm,
when you're living check to check, the simplest thing can happen and it completely derails whatever you have going on because you have no room for those extra expenses because
right.
you're spending everything that comes in. So this is why it's so important for you to put money away. Even if you're not a saver and you like to invest, do that. Do that. Just make sure that you have accounts that you can pull from when hard times come.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
All about having some form of liquid money so that you don't have to. And I mean, even if it's one thing that you should definitely try and avoid is to put a huge amount on credit cards that you aren't going to be able to pay off in a reasonable amount of time. Because the reality is, you put $5,000, $10,000 on a credit card, and then you can't pay that credit card off for like 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 months. You're not just putting $10,000 on that credit card. That money will compound so negative. Well, it won't compound negatively, but it will compound against you, and all that 10,000 initially is going to turn into something a lot different in a year's time if you're only paying, like the minimum balance on it. Because as we know, credit card interest rates are minimum 20%. You feel me? So that's something that you definitely have to keep in mind. As beneficial as credit cards can be when you use them responsibly, they can definitely hurt you and negatively affect your finances if you're relying on them to be that emergency fund, especially if you don't have a means to pay them off in a reasonable amount of time. Because that paycheck to paycheck can go from like it's just gonna be a growing weed that you can't really chop down and get to a point to where you're like, I don't even know how to I don't even know how to handle it now because it's gotten so out of control, And that's when people have to do very extreme things. Like
Bankruptcy.
that is very, very extreme. Um, Filing bankruptcy, or just making extreme changes in their life, right? Like or deciding that, okay, I'm not going to eat out at all for a whole year, or I'm going to stop driving my car. I don't know, whatever the case may be, because people have their ways to get out of that. But sometimes it can be those extreme measures if you aren't prepared initially. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think having a way to have liquid funds, and it can come in different forms, like you said. You can just have money saved. We talked about having an emergency fund at some point on this podcast. I mean, on this show, and that is also very important. But at the same time, there are other ways to have liquid money while investing, right? Like the money that you have in the stock market can be accessible, unless we're talking retirement. But still, money in the stock market, as much as we preach letting it sit, letting it grow, I think that, and this is my thoughts, right? I think that if you need to pull money from there rather than put money on a credit card that you can't afford, I think that that is money that can be accessible, but it's only accessible if you have started your investment journey. What do you think
Yeah.
about pulling money from your investments to take care of emergencies, though?
I think there's only a small amount of reasons that would prompt me to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a roof leaking is definitely one of those situations. Like if you're in a home, your roof is leaking. This could cause more and more problems
Yes.
later on down the road if you don't get it fixed like ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, something like that I would. But if you're trying to go to a vacation,
Right.
or you see what I'm saying, you might feel like you have to do this, right? And you might feel like, oh, I have to pull from this because this is a special day for my friend, you know. And we get it. You want to be supportive, but you have to think of your best interest
Yeah.
um, in the forefront. Because some things you're gonna have to miss if you're living check to check. That's just being realistic. If you didn't do the pre work to build your savings or your investments up to a certain spot where you can make these moves, you're gonna have to miss out on some things.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to afford everything because you're check to check. This means that your expenses are very close to what you have bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
you
I
know,
also want to just make sure people understand that that's okay. Bro, you giving a lot of thumbs up, man.
yeah,
It's
man,
like,
I'm really feeling this conversation.
it's like it's like the fifth one. This man is just like, yeah, we just making sure that you got a little patience. Bro, what is happening right now? Yeah, but I was saying, like, I just want people to understand that that's okay. to miss things, right? Like it's not going to. How do I put this? Um, People feel like that they shouldn't or that they can't miss things because they don't have the means to do it. And I think the only reality is you missing that is you putting yourself in a spot to where you can prepare yourself better for the next time that comes. Because if you choose to spend money that you don't have to go to a place, have a great time, when you come back, that problem is not going to happen. It's not going to go away, right? If anything, it's gotten worse because you spent money on a flight and you spent money on an Uber, but then you got to talk about activities and food, and we're talking vacation specifically, but it can go into a lot of different areas, right? Whether it's you going on a shopping spree or whatever the case may be, it's okay to be in a situation where you aren't fully prepared to go and then choose to not go, right? Like that's just it's okay, right? Because there's always going to be another situation where when you are prepared, you can go because you chose to not go to you chose not to go to this one particular event or because it wasn't an emergency, like you said, like your roof is leaking. That's different than you going out the country or you going on a vacation because it's it's been a while since you went on a vacation, so you feel like you need one. But it's like, all right, but are you prepared to take a vacation? Are you ready to spend all this money that you're about to spend, possibly take off work and not, make as much money as you would have made or use PTO, whatever the case may be? Um, it's a bit of a trickling effect. So
That's
yeah, just
exactly what it is.
want to make sure people feel comfortable in being like, I'm not gonna go this time because you know I'm not prepared. But that's okay though, right? Like, cause it takes
And,
time to get to a spot.
and
So
see, we gotta normalize that.
yes,
You see what I'm saying?
people make people feel
Because
bad, bro.
be like, ah, this man broke. He can't. They even made a song about being a brokey, bro. Like it's crazy, man. Like people get made fun, and the thing is, the average. I want to say the average income is like 50,000. So
Yeah.
that means most people are broke. You get what
According
I'm saying?
to yeah, yeah. If that's the case, most people are. And then yeah, it is a cultural, not really cultural thing, but it's like a thing that, like you said, people have normalized to say you
All right.
can't go on this trip.
I
If
hate
you
to say
broke,
this.
just say so, like that
I,
type of stuff.
I hate to say this, but it's definitely cultural.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
I see it a lot in the black community, and I feel like it's more prevalent in the black community. Like just look at all of our, and I hate to bring a lot of things to rap, but a lot of things in rap are not exactly positive. You don't see a whole lot of positive rap music. You have a few artists,
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
but the majority is not rapping about. It's usually about getting money, having a lot of women, um,
It's about spending
spending
money.
money,
Yeah, spending money.
spending money,
Yeah.
yeah, and drugs.
Yeah. Things that I guess depending on things that should not be important, like getting money, but the means of getting it or how you're getting it is different, right? Like that's
Mhm.
yeah. I feel you. But yeah, it is kind of on the cultural side, um, especially the idea of making fun of people who don't have it. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Wh-
it's
When
definitely.
most people don't have it, but the thing is, we like to give a perception of having it.
That's the cultural side that I definitely see a lot of is the showing that you do even though you don't. Yeah. And actually spending like you do even though you don't because you want other people to see and feel like you do. But
Mhm.
that only creates again more of a cycle of you not having because you're having to keep up with the Joneses as they used to say. I don't know if they still say that, but they don't say that no more.
Nah, bro.
They're like, nah, they don't keep up with the Joneses no more, bro. That's old. But yeah, spending money to impress people that you probably don't even really rock with like that, whether it
Yeah.
be like on Instagram or social media or I don't know, even just people that you see. around your neighborhood or around your community, it could definitely put you in this crazy cycle of never having caught up because you're always trying to spend to look the look. So you can never just pause and say, all right, I need to focus on doing what I need to do so that I can actually be in a spot where I need to be. Preparation never really happens because you're always
And
dishing it out.
and I think a lot of it is just never being exposed to that, man. Because like if you talk to certain people,
Hmm.
they don't really understand saving money. Because like I've heard so many times where it's like if he had money, he'd spend it. You see what I'm saying? Like this is a mindset that I hear. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not even joking. Like this
Yeah.
is exactly what they said. If because there was this guy and he's perceived to be a millionaire in the school system. You know, I think he is like because just what I've seen in the way he carries himself, I feel like he's telling the truth.
Hmm.
But you know, you have a lot of people that are gonna hate and doubt certain things that you do. And I think it's a form of jealousy sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, the mindset that was going through some of my coworkers' heads was if he had the money, he'd spend it. And
Like
I
he
just
would show
don't.
that he had money if he was an actual millionaire. He would be driving around in a nice fancy car. He would be going to like fancy restaurants. See, that is the trap right there. And it's funny
Mhm.
because we actually see the opposite of that in other communities. Like, it'll be obvious. Like, we'll talk about how these business owners are walking around in Skechers and polo, like regular polo t-shirts, and they have a boatload of money. But as we know growing up, and I might not even say drip anymore, but your clothes like that defined you. You feel me? Like if you weren't
Mhm.
coming with the most expensive or the freshest clothes, then you were whack. You were lame. You were that was yeah. Culturally, it didn't matter
Yeah,
how much money you might have had. If you chose to get something that was not on brand, then
you're right. Because
don't
I
matter.
used to wear a South Pole, man, and people used to clown me for that. You see what I'm saying? Like
It don't
it's it's toxic, bro. It's like, oh, you got clothes with this label on it.
matter. Yeah, and all the whole time the people who make those clothes are just rolling in dough, like laughing at the fact that we care so much about us putting on the clothes that they're making. You know?
the the richest man in the world makes Louis Vuitton, bro.
Yeah, I
This is
remember you. I remember that conversation. He makes clothes,
and
puts words on.
this is something that is not even a necessity. I would think that the richest man would be somebody that makes something that's essential. You, but no, it is a high-end clothing brand,
Hmm.
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, it's crazy,
It's insane.
crazy. Yeah, it's wild. But that is the human psyche and why a lot of times people do get put into those situations where they are stuck but have a bunch of uh, tangible what they might consider assets, but in reality it's just a bunch of tangible liabilities. Clothes that they spent who knows how much money on, cars that they're spending like $1,000 a month, a car that they might be spending like $1,000 a month on. Just because it's not even like a to make. Sometimes it's like I buy this to make me feel good, but other times I'm buying this to make them feel good about me or something like that. I don't really know how to word it, but you get what I'm saying.
I
It's
feel
like
like it has to be good because the thing is, when you're inside of a car, you can't see the outside of it. When you're driving
that's the
it,
craziest thing.
it gotta be for other people.
Unless you get like a car that has like heated seats and you just love heated seats, or it has like a fancy dashboard that you
Okay,
just happen to like the interior. That's cool, but a lot of times, now people are probably buying a car so that other people can look at them and be like, "Ooh, look at your car." Yeah,
because that they correlate that to wealth.
hmm they do. They definitely do. But man, um, preparation is important. I'll ask you this too. Do you think, well, what do you think, or when do you think someone should say, okay, I have enough money saved. Now I can start investing? Or is there ever, like, we talk about emergency savings or having an emergency fund a lot. Do you think that having an emergency fund is necessary before you start investing?
All right, so this is going to be my honest opinion. All right. So check me out. If you're a saver, I feel like you could go either way. If you're a saver, I say 3 to 6 months max. Because the thing is, anything over that, you're wasting time because that compound interest is not going to be as good as if you're in the stock market.
Three to
But
six months of all your expenses, or just like your major ones? Like 3 to 6 months of, like, say, 3 to 6 months of your mortgage and bills, or 3 to 6 months of mortgage, bills, groceries, like how
everything,
everything.
everything, yeah,
Okay.
you need to be able to live for 3 to 6 months. That will give you enough time to get another job or whatever is going on.
Okay.
You need to be able to recover from it.
Okay.
Um, but when it, my thing is, if you have an investment account or you have a HELOC that is not maxed out, and say you have a brokerage account with 50,000 or something like that in it, I personally don't feel like it's essential for you to have a savings account. Cause my thing is, if something bad happens, you can just pull from that 50,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's when is the stock market ever going, like when has it ever dropped 50%?
Right. Not.
And even if it did drop 50%, if it dropped 70%, you still got to like,
Yeah.
but that's not, it's not like based on statistics, based on history, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's very true. I think people fear losing money, and that's why they don't invest as much, or they're slow to invest in the stock market. But that is also just education, right? Like, if they understand the history of the stock market and not solely focus on what one person told them 15 years ago, that the stock market is like gambling, then they're never going to get off the sidelines and start investing, because they're always worried that if I put my money in the stock market, it can go down and I can lose it.
Right.
Okay, let's take a look at the last 15 years of you not investing in the stock market and what has happened. Do you still think that you're going to lose money in the stock market? You might, if you're trying to put money in and take it out the next day, or put money in and take it out the next week, or try and flip it, as people say. But that's not right. The whole purpose of the stock market, the purpose of it is to, like you said, let your money grow, which historically has grown a lot faster than any savings account has ever grown. The most
So
you get on a savings account is like, I think the highest I've seen is like 5%, maybe
yeah.
6%, maybe.
Yeah. But I do realize most people don't have $50,000 sitting in an account. So
For sure.
if you don't have like that type of brokerage account, then yes, I say that you probably need to save. But let
Yeah.
me ask you something, man. Say you got 100,000 sitting in a brokerage account, right?
hmm
Do you feel like a savings account is necessary?
No, I I personally understand that having money in an investment account is just as liquid as having money inside of a savings account. I can sell whatever I need to sell as far as shares go and withdraw that money pretty much just as fast as I would be able to withdraw it from a savings account. Um, the only difference would probably be taxes, because of the gains. That'll be
Right.
different and something that you have to take into account. But I, like you said, would try to avoid that. If I know that, like, say it was a small amount of money, like, okay, I need this unexpected thing came up and I have to pay $7,000, then I would probably use a credit card first with the plan to pay that off within a reasonable amount of time, then take
Before
money
the month
from,
is over.
yeah, yeah,
Before the month is over.
with before I take money from the money that's growing. But of course, if I need to take money from there, then yeah, I can do that as well. But I also don't see the huge need to have a savings account, because I know that it's not going to grow as fast as the money that's inside of a brokerage account. It just hasn't historically. So
And when he says credit card, he's paying it off before the interest even hits.
yeah,
So like I know that we were talking about how high interest is on credit cards. So if you have big expenses, you get points or you get cash back on these credit cards. So imagine having an expense like $7,000 and you
mm,
use a credit card. You're getting you're getting a lot of money back.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
getting a lot of yeah.
Money
So
back, points
just
back, something. Yeah, it's like use the perks of the card, but make sure you pay it off. That's
yeah,
or
before
have the
the
means
interest.
to pay it off. Yeah, because you don't want to do that and then end up having like lose money because of the amount that you still have on the card. So yeah,
Counterproductive.
there's a lot of ways to take care of emergencies, but I think the most important thing and the root of it all is to just be prepared to take any route, whether it is you using a credit card, paying it off, having money in a savings account, having money in a brokerage account, whatever the case may be. Um, Preparation is important, and emergencies happen all the time, right? Like, so yeah, it's always good to be prepared. And if you are one who is like literally in a situation where you are living paycheck to paycheck, what recommendation would you give, bro? Do you think at that point it's best for them to like just start putting small amounts into a savings account, start putting small amounts into an investment account, uh, ensuring that they don't have any credit card debt? What would be your advice to someone in that situation?
If you have nothing, I would start with a savings account.
I
I
would
would
agree.
definitely start with
I
a
would
savings
agree.
account. Yeah, because
Because that is, go ahead.
with an investment account, it could dip, especially like if something and say something bad comes up or something unexpected comes up while that dip is going.
Hmm.
It could be really detrimental to you because you don't really have a whole lot in there. So say something like unexpected, like your roof starts leaking, and you got to pay $10,000 because your insurance won't cover it, like something crazy like that. Um, this could put you in a very bad spot to force you to use credit cards or to get like a personal loan, and then now you got this debt that you're paying off, and you're already checked the check. Yeah, it's just not a good situation. So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
something else that we didn't even mention, like the whole idea of having a decent credit score. So if you did need to pull out or use a personal loan, they won't hit you with the crazy interest rate either. So a lot of different avenues in which you need to be prepared financially if things do go wrong, and directions you can take. So yeah, no, I would agree with you though, man. I think that that is um, one of the base level ways of definitely being prepared is to having money in the savings account. But also, like you said, once that savings account hits a certain amount, I think it's best to stop putting money in that savings account and start putting money into an account that's going to grow a bit faster, like an investment account. So, yeah, preparation,
Facts.
man, the importance of it. Well, I think we hit everything we needed to hit today, Cornell. How you feeling? You good?
I'm feeling good, bro.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Cool. Well, as always, we appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Facebook group is always thriving and growing, so don't forget to hit that up. Hit the join button. And if you are liking what you're hearing, please subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Um, Hit the bell so that you get notified every time a video drops, which is going to happen every single Wednesday. Um, but yeah, outside of that, we appreciate you all. We love y'all. We're going to catch y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace out.